Hey everyone, this is Chelsea, and obviously I'm here lunging Tia in this video. Someone had a question on the fans and followers page about a correctly working over the back canter versus an incorrect canter. So I thought Tia would maybe demonstrate that for us a little bit, because going left, she's a lot stronger, and going right, not so much. So this is just a little bit of a clip of us going both directions. So here you can see she's swinging really nicely. Her trot has just improved so much in the past few months. So I always enjoy lunging her and gain a chance to kind of see where she's at. And she tends to be a pretty distracted horse. So I have the shambone on her, even though she's very developed, just to kind of remind her not to just run around and throw her head up every time she sees something interesting. Because if left to her own devices, she will just kind of run around like that, looking for things to be worried about. So after a few minutes, she generally settles down, but I like the shambone just to kind of remind her where she needs to be. So in the trot, you can see how when she slows down and takes those deeper steps, it looks so round and bouncy. And it feels that way too. There's an incredible difference. She still has moments you can see her nose kind of comes behind the vertical a little bit there. So I try to encourage her forward so that she doesn't get curled back. She was never broken in the third vertebrae, but she just seems to have that tendency a little bit to rather be behind the vertical than more in front of it or on it at times. So that's something I kind of keep an eye out for her with. And there you can see that's a runny trot. Not very balanced, not over her back. And she comes back really nicely, but that's basically what happens when she gets distracted. She just kind of falls apart on me a little bit. So here, go ahead and ask her for a canter. And she stays pretty round. You can see there, when she does bring her head up, of course she kind of takes off and cross canters. When she does bring her head up, she kind of falls apart. And if you watch my last associate trainer video, I talked about that. Like, she kind of looks up and then she loses her back and she loses the whole canter and ends up falling into the trot. So that's not super uncommon for her. So here I had her come back and do a little bit nicer of a trot before we went back to canter again. So there's nice over her back. She loses it again. It's not a big deal. I just ask her to go on. So that's nice. You can see it slows down. She has difficulty holding it sometimes, even this direction, which she's definitely stronger in. When she slows down, you can see she kind of goes, oh, that's hard, and almost falls back to trot even this direction. But there, she's nice and round. She's stretching down. She's taking a nice long stride underneath her body, stepping well with that inside hind underneath. And what's really impressive that I've noticed lately is when she comes back to trot after canter, she's not quite as quick. She settles back into that nice trot again. So this is definitely a good canter, good trotting. And in a minute, we're going to switch sides, and I'll show you kind of the harder stuff for her. It is a little bit difficult lunging one-handed, so I do struggle with my whip a little bit, which is why sometimes you see her kind of like slow down a bit more than I would like, or speed up too much. I don't quite have the same finesse when the lunge line and the lunge whip are in my same hand. So here's the other direction. It's a little bit harder for her. She tends to be kind of a banana that's shaped left. So when we go this way, she still wants her head to be a little bit to the outside and her haunches kind of fall in. You notice also too, she doesn't stretch quite as nicely. Like, her neck doesn't go out as far as I like, or down quite as far as she gets the other direction. So this is just tough for her in general. You see, it's still quite nice. She's still springing off the ground and taking nice big steps behind her. hocks are really moving in circles there, which is exactly what we're looking for. So this canter, not terrible, but as you'll see, she really has difficulty maintaining it, and when she does start to bring her head and neck down, she falls apart. She can't maintain that slow rhythm in the canter, and I really have to send her on. She's wanting to break. It's just tough for her. As you can see, her rhythm looks a little bit uneven there. Like she does slow down and bring her head down, but then like it doesn't look like her front and hind end is moving together as much. So right here, it's just kind of not falling, it's kind of falling apart. It's not the smooth, nice rhythm togetherness that I'm looking for. So you can see there, she brought her head and neck down and then just kind of left her hind legs behind her and really had to, she's more pulling herself in this canter than she is pushing herself. So we just come back to the trot here. And all I really want is for her just to reestablish that rhythm and get back into a little bit nicer stretch. She's got nice activity here, but I'd just like to see her head and neck a little bit lower so that her hind end can come a little bit deeper underneath her. So I mean, as you watch the canter in general, it's difficult for her to stretch. We have a little wild moment there. But in general, she really, her pulls above her withers for the most part. And so the shambo is helpful in not allowing her to go around hollow, but obviously, this canter is just not the same quality as she has going to the left. And in my videos, generally I'm not working her in a small arena like this. This is just a 20 by 40. So it's nice to get her out in the field where we have more space because it's not so difficult for her to canter to the right when she has a bigger circle or can even go straight. So it's not that we don't do this at all, but it's pretty difficult for her to do it on the 20-meter circle, which is why I thought it would be helpful to kind of show you guys the difference in the quality of canter as far as when they're over their back and when they're not, because she's got a bit of a difference there. But I expect that will definitely go away. We've been having some saddle fit issues. Her right shoulder is much smaller than her left, and so the saddle sits crooked on her. And so I think that's probably causing her quite a bit of discomfort. And the way it falls, I'm not surprised that the canter is a little bit more difficult for her going right than it is left. So we're hopefully getting that squared away shortly, and I'm hoping that will help her feel more comfortable and improve the quality of that canter quite a bit.